Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I am your host, Dennis Patholkas, and this is The Boys, Season 1, Episode 2, Cherry. Sorry for being a little bit late on that one. I kind of fell asleep afterwards after the morning one, and I was running a little bit late. So there we go. That's what happens when you get, tired and you get old, is what happens. So, good stuff. I'm actually missing my props on one thing. I just realized I'm missing one of the props. But just a reminder, at the very last episode of this, for episode 8, when I do the review for that, there is going to be a contest for a foam finger that came from the boys' fan premiere at Comic-Con. There's only 300 of those. And also, that's going to be the first prize. And the second prize is this coin from Amazon, which is from the boys. And that also says Comic-Con 2019. But I will reiterate all that stuff in that last episode when I do that. Get a little business out of the way. If you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. You can hit the dislike button. I just ask you go down in the comment section, tell me what it is you don't like. Give me some constructive criticism, not like some troll that did something earlier today and I basically told them what to do with themselves. So also, if you want to follow me, you can hit the little bell down below. The bell will let you know when it gives you a 50-50 chance of telling you whether or not I'm going to be on again next. And you can go to the bell settings and get as many or as little notifications as you want. I do have a schedule up on my on my website, suspendedfanimation.com. It's also mirrored on my Facebook page as well. I'm usually within 15 to 30 minutes of that schedule. So I will try and let people know on Facebook. This one I didn't have a chance to, so I was taking notes furiously up until the end there. And I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I also have a Patreon, but I don't have tiers set up on the Patreon as of yet. All right. All caught up on everything. So I know, long time no see with everybody. Not since this morning, huh? Let's get started. Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the shit out of this episode. And if you haven't watched it, go on back, watch the episode, come on back. This will be a video, and you can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the paddle. Exactly. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, the other thing is this is the last Saturday I'm going to be doing The Boys on Saturday. I'm moving it over to Thursday nights. And from there, you can catch me there. I will be putting it up on the schedule, so you'll see it when it comes out there, starting this Thursday, as a matter of fact. All right. So basically, we start off in this episode where we left off in the last episode with a stunned Huey just finally realizing that Butcher was lying all this time. He is not a Fed at all. The cops are coming. They've got a knocked out superhero who knows who they are, and he wants Huey's help to get him in the trunk of his car. So, the Butcher explains, he goes, you know what? If we don't get him in there, the cops are coming. They're going to arrest us. Shit's going to happen. So Huey does what anybody would have done in that situation. He helps put that guy in the trunk, and they take off. And Butcher explains, he works for a lot of people. He's kind of an independent contractor in a way. And we hear Translucent start banging on the trunk of the car because he thinks Translucent is dead. And he ends up... by the way, Translucent is not an original character from the comics. He's actually made directly for the TV show. So there you go. So he's banging on the trunk of the car, and Huey's relieved that he's alive, and he wants to pull over and just let Translucent out. And he says, Butcher goes, no. He's seen our faces. He knows who we are. After what we've done, they're going to kill us, essentially, if we let him out. There's no way. He goes, there's only one thing that we need to do now. And Huey's kind of dreading this. And he goes, don't worry. I know a guy, is what Butcher says. So he shows up at a door to this nondescript warehouse and is banging on the door. This woman answers the door and just kind of looks at them. And Butcher asks, hey, is he in? And of course, he pushes past her, goes inside. And we see this guy who's named Frenchie, who's got a lot of guns. sitting around that he's working on. And Frenchie wants to know where his 40K is that Butcher owes him. And Butcher's like, don't worry about it. It's coming. He goes, well, how'd you like to double your money? You want to help me do a job? And Frenchie's like, well, double of nothing is still nothing. He goes, come on outside. I'll show you what the job is. And he goes, open the trunk, is what he tells Frenchie. And in the meantime, Butcher's also got this gigantic cattle prod in his hands. Frenchie opens up the trunk, and Translucent is awake, and he's just spouting F-bombs, just telling them that they're fucked. That when they find out that he's gone, they're going to be killed, all this kind of stuff. And Butcher just shocks him and knocks him back out again. And they shut the trunk of the car. And Frenchie pulls a gun on Butcher and goes, you bring that shit to my door. He's chipped, right? They're going to be searching for him. Homelander's going to be searching for him if they're not searching for him right now. And he was like, wait. He's chipped? And yeah, all superheroes in the 7 are chipped. So yeah, he's pretty much freaking out. And Billy basically tells Frenchie, he goes, yeah, well, he's seen your face now too. So you pretty much have to do the job with us. Otherwise you're screwed as well. And Frenchie's like, motherfucker, he always talks me into this shit. So he agrees, of course, to do this. A-Train, in the meantime, has a live stream going that he's going to meet a terminally ill kid, whose last wish was to meet Translucent, but Translucent is nowhere to be found, of course. Yeah. So it's a very awkward situation. And A-Train says, that Translucent's on a secret mission right now, but maybe he can run by and meet him next week. And they look up at the doctor, and the doctor shakes his head no, because he's not going to be alive next week. And you see A-Train's face fall. And the kid is basically saying, I want to meet Translucent. This is not what I want to do. And you see the count. If you take a look at the count, it starts off with like 2.2 million viewers. It almost drops like 1 million almost initially. And then it just starts dropping from there, especially when he goes, maybe if you get better, he goes, I'll teach you how to run as fast as I do. And the kid's like, what? You're going to teach me how to outrun cancer? And A-Train's just silent and just gives a thumbs up and a smile to the camera. And you just see the views just plummet on that thing. I know what that's like when you get the views plummeting, but I don't have millions of viewers. Yeah. And we see that Stillwell is watching this, and she goes, with Ashley, the assistant. And she tells Ashley, she goes, what the hell is A-Train doing there? We know he only gets scripted stuff. He never gets put on stuff like this. Who the hell did this, basically? And where the hell is Translucent? And Ashley, of course, thinks that he's on a bender like he normally is. Yeah. Starlight, in the meantime, bumps into Black Noir in the lobby and says, hey, how's it going, Black Noir? We didn't get a chance to meet. I'm Starlight. She's holding out her hand, and he's just kind of staring at her, doesn't say anything at all, and then walks around her and just keeps walking. Completely brushed her off like an asshole, a complete and total asshole. Starlight, of course, meets her handlers, I guess you could say. Ashley brings her in to say that she has a crime itinerary. And, she's like, no, you know what? I kind of work on my own. I like doing my own investigating. She goes, and that's what we like about you. But what if you nab the wrong person? If you nab the wrong person, there's liability to be considered, a whole bunch of other things. We could be sued, and VOT doesn't want that. So that's why we plan this out for you. And Starlight's looking at her itinerary, and she goes, wait a minute, I'm paired up with the Deep? And, well, yeah, it's a water-adjacent crime, is what they said. That's what and originally it was Translucent, but Translucent's off on another mission. Yeah. They haven't really said, Mark Maginot, what Black Noir's power is, or if he has any. So they haven't said anything about that. Billy, in the meantime, and the boys have driving really, really fast to an abandoned restaurant. And we see Huey is actually taping up some RF covering on the ceiling, and that's going to be blocking the signal, the chip signal. And as he puts it, you can buy this stuff at Fry's fairly cheaply. And Frenchie's like, who the hell are you? And he goes, oh, I used to, I was working as an audio video tech, so I know all this stuff. Yeah. In the meantime, they are hooking up a cage to batteries, and Translucent wakes up in the cage, tries hitting the wall of the cage, and starts shocking himself. It's like, what the fuck, and they're like, yeah, you're going to be answering some questions for us, but for right now, we've got other plans. And they shut the door on him. So they are outside, and Frenchie and Butcher are talking about how to pierce Translucent's diamond hard skin and trying to kill him at this point. They're like, well, okay, we can't pierce his skin. What about suffocating him? And Frenchie goes, no, they tried that. He goes, oh, what happened? He goes, they're dead, obviously. It's like we're going to be. And so they're trying to think about this, and Huey is not on board. He's like, wait, we're going to kill him? He goes, yeah, what'd you think we're going to do? He goes, if you want to get back at A-Train, he goes, this is what we have to do. And you can't do that if you're a greasy smear on the pavement. And that's what Homelander is going to do if he finds us. Yeah. And also if Translucent talks. That's the other thing. In the meantime, the Deep, as we see these TV channels changing, and the Deep has found the Baltimore mayor's jet. And it's at the bottom of in some water. And it looks like they had engine troubles and it went down. Homelander comes into Stillwell's office and asks, he's asking about helping to find Translucent. She goes, no, there's people on that. We've got it. Don't worry about it. And then she asks him, what about the mayor of Baltimore? And if he had anything to, if he'd heard anything about that. He goes, yeah. He goes, I heard about that. She goes, that's kind of funny. The Deep told me, and only me, that when he was down there, he saw that there was 2 streaks of burned scorch marks on the engines, like they came from 2 little twin laser beams, like from eyes. And she goes, you know what? Revenge is not what you do. She goes, you're supposed to be apple pie, baseball, America, all that kind of stuff. You do not do revenge. And he says, well, I heard he's threatening you. I had to take action, is what he says. And she's like, you shouldn't be doing this kind of stuff this close to the Senate committee, coming to a vote on whether or not to get soups in the military. She goes, you can jeopardize everything. And he wants to know how in the hell the mayor knew about Compound V in the first place. She goes, don't worry about it. She goes, all you need to do is charm Congress. That's all you need to do. Charm the congressman. And he's a bit obsessed with her. You can see that Homelander is a bit obsessed with her, and he's, kind of into her. She's just had a baby, so she's actually pumping breast milk. And as she's got her hand on his face, telling that he just needs to charm the congressman. He looks down and says, you're leaking. And she goes, oh, thank you. She doesn't even look down at it. And yeah, it's a fucking creepy scene. That's all I can say. Yeah. Huey, in the meantime, calls his dad, and his dad's worried about what happened because he said, hey, someone crashed a car through Gary's shop. And he goes, I was watching this thing on Dateline about, trafficking, human trafficking. He goes, I haven't been human trafficked. Don't worry about it. He goes, I was over at such and such's house. He goes, I called him. You weren't there. Where are you? And Huey's like, don't worry, Dad. Everything's good. And his dad is trying to tell him, come home before you do anything stupid. And Huey's like, don't worry about it, and hangs up. Yeah. And then he gets pissed off and starts punching the wall to the point where he starts bleeding. His hands start bleeding. Yeah. Just a little bit on the pent up side. The Deep, in the meantime, comes into the meeting room because he thinks there's a meeting going on, and it's just Homelander and him. And Homelander wants to know what the hell he saw, why he brought it to Stillwell. And the Deep's like, I don't know, man. It was kind of murky down there. I don't know exactly what I saw. Maybe I didn't see anything. Yeah, I didn't see anything at all. And Homelander is okay with that at this point and goes, yeah, exactly. That's fine. He goes, I'm glad we had a chance to have this little talk. Now go fuck Shamu in the blowhole. And sends the Deep off to the deep end, I guess you could say at this point. Frenchie, in the meantime, has been making a bullet coated in the same material as Translucent skin. And Billy puts it into a gun, shoots him, and it ricochets around the room. And Translucent's just laughing. saying, "You guys are fucked. You guys are dead." And Billy slams the door on him and goes, "Okay, you know what?" He goes, "You guys stay here. I got a long shot, but it might pay off. I'm going to go and see somebody." Yeah. And he leaves them. In the meantime, Stillwell goes into the tech room and she wants to know if they found translucent. They found translucent signal, but it's smeared. It's might be glitching. And so they have a 10 block radius of which to search. So she says, have the cops search door to door if they need to. Not physically assault. Well, yes. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say. Yes. That's what it was. Let's see what else we got here. In the meantime, the Deep and Starlight are waiting outside the water adjacent warehouse for the crime to start. He's pissed off because he goes, I can do so much more. He goes, all they give me is this water adjacent shit. He goes, that's because they want to see me do the pretty dive and they want me to flex my biceps. He goes, I could do so much more. And he looks at Starlight and goes, what's wrong with you? What the hell are you so pissed off about? Oh, is it still bothering you? What happened? And she goes, he goes, if you act up, he goes, I'm just going to tell everybody you're crazy and what you did. And she goes, fuck you. She goes, I asked around. You're nobody back at the 7. You're the fish guy. No one takes you seriously. She goes, you ever come near me again? She goes, I will fry the eyes out of your head, basically. Yeah, she'll burn his eyes out. And before this can happen any further, the thieves arrive with their van. And the Deep says, well, we'll continue this later. He does his pretty dive off the wall and he goes, you go through the front, I'll go through the back. So we see these guys, they are actually, they have drugs inside these Homelander dolls and they're ripping the heads off the Homelander dolls, pull the drugs out. And that's when Starlight comes in and flashes them with her light, knocking them out. And we see the Deep grab two of the other guys that are taken off and knocks them out. And that's when the cameras swoop in. And Ashley comes in and tells Starlight, okay, come over here, stand over this guy, and tell him this is lit. And Starlight's kind of stunned and like, what the hell's going on? And she goes, smile for the camera, Starlight, smile for the camera. And the Deep is like, hey, Steve, did you get my dive? Did you get that dive? Great. Yeah. It's all just a big show. Everything's been staged at this point. Billy, in the meantime, has snuck into the house of Susan, who's the deputy director of CIA operations, who he used to work with. And what he wants is Mallory's files on the soups because he knows there's a weakness in there for translucent. She goes, I don't want to know any more than that. Don't tell me anymore. And I find it creepy that you came into my house, first of all. And second, just because we fucked a couple of times doesn't mean that you should be talking to me like this at all. And she goes, I don't even know what you're doing back here. And he's explaining that, he needs some help. And she goes, you're fucked. Those files are buried. Mallory's files are buried. They're never coming out to the light of day. Get the hell out of here. I never want to see you again in my house. And he says, it's a matter of life and death. And she goes, that's great. I'll send an edible arrangement to your funeral. Yeah. Huey, in the meantime, goes into the room that they're keeping translucent and gives him a glass of water. I mean, Huey has the best of intentions, but quite honestly, he doesn't think things through. And, well, he thinks things through like a normal person and, of course, fucks things up. And he wants to know what the hell A-Train was doing when he burst through that woman the other day. And Translucent's like, why? Who is she to you? Sister? Oh, you're the boyfriend, is what he says. And he goes, look, my superpower is not invisibility. It's reading people. And he goes, you're trying to put up a good front, but you're pissing you're shitting your pants right now, is what he tells him. And I don't blame you. He goes, because when they find me, and they will, he goes, you're going to be a smear. You're not going to exist. You're a water. He goes, I'm a superhero. I'm a fucking superhero. You're just a balloon full of blood. And when the Homelander comes and finds us, he's going to burst your little balloon of blood. Yeah. No, he didn't leave the cage door open, Stanley. The cage was locked. So Oh yeah, he did. Oh, that's right, the little hatch at the bottom. Yeah, he didn't think things through at all. In the meantime, while this is going on, while he's having this talk with Translucent, the cops are actually searching place door to door, and Frenchie is watching them actually entering these areas. And they enter the front of the store, but they notice that it's all kind of deserted and everything, and they just kind of walk in and walk back out. Vought's party with the congressmen is going on. The Soups and Stillwell are smoozing all of them, and we see Senator Calhoun at the bar, and Stillwell comes up to talk to him, and he tells her, this party's a waste of time. He goes, we're not voting to put Soups in the military. She goes, well, why not? And he says, because that guy over there is from Lockheed. That guy over there is from another military contractor. Do you think they're going to lose their lucrative contracts with the military for all the weapons that they give by putting Soups in the military? That's going to put them out of business. Not going to happen. And Stillwell basically tells him, you know what? Why don't you have some Macallan 25 years? And he's like, no. He goes, I like my whiskey as it is. She goes, no, try it. She goes, why have average when you can have the extraordinary, which is what her whole catchphrase is about all of this. Starlight is walking home or walking around basically in her civilian garb when she notices these two guys trying to rape a girl, and she steps in to stop it. And the guy's like, no, we know each other. Everything's good. Everything's fine. And she asks the girl, she goes, Miss, can you close your eyes? And she does. And she, does her little light blast and knocks one guy against the car. The other guy comes at her and calls her a bitch. And the girl takes off at this point, and she punches him, knocks him out. But she doesn't realize that someone up above in the building is filming all of this with their phone, and filmed everything of her fight, but not, of course, what happened before leading up to the fight. Frenchie is trying a drill on Translucent, which of course is not going to work. And he offers Huey a hallucinogen, and Huey's like, no, do you think hallucinogen really is the right thing to do at this point in time, especially with what we're doing? And Huey wants to know who Frenchie is. And Frenchie tells him he used to be a gun runner, but he solves problems now, like trying to kill a Soup. And he killed a few, is what they've said. And that each one is different. You've got to figure out what their weaknesses are. And Huey wants to know, what's it like killing a Soup? And Frenchie says, he starts relating a story about a girl that he saw in an elevator with really dark hair, but she looked very well put together, but had dirt under her fingernails. And he's wondering what the hell she was doing that she had dirt under her fingernails. And he says, if you're wondering who this is, that was my first kill. He says, and she sticks with me always. I think of her all the time, as with all of them. I collect them, is what he says. So that's what it's like, is that you're always thinking about it afterwards. Senator Calhoun, in the meantime, is getting ready to screw the female bartender, and she's on top of him and puts a blindfold on him and tells him, get ready to get in, and morphs into this really big fat guy and starts recording them having sex. And he goes, wait, this doesn't feel right, is what the senator says. Kind of nasty, especially with the sound effects too that were going on. Starlight bumps into Homelander just standing in the hallway looking at a picture of himself, and she goes, oh, hi Homelander, how's it going? He goes, oh, doing all right, kind of thing. And she goes, well, it's a late night, I'm gonna go. He goes, oh, is that your civilian, your secret identity? And she goes, yeah. He goes, I gave up on mine. He goes, didn't feel, it wasn't working for me, so I gave it up. She goes, well, I'm going to go to bed. And she takes off, and he starts staring at the wall again. And we see that he's actually looking through the wall, and he's obsessed with Stillwell as she's doing her, breast pump milking. And that's what he's watching and kind of getting off on it from what it looks like. No, Homelander is not the Saved by the Bell dude. He is actually Anthony Starr from Banshee is his name, which is another great series if you get a chance to see it. Banshee is a pretty fucking awesome series, actually. It was on Cinemax. Yeah. Frenchie gets an idea after watching a turtle documentary on TV, and he goes, I'm going to need Translucent to be unconscious, though. So they go in and shock Translucent unconscious and decide to do Frenchie's idea. Ashley, in the meantime, confronts Starlight in the bathroom and says, "What the fuck were you thinking?" And she goes, "What?" And she shows her the video of her beating the shit out of the two guys. She goes, they were going to rape some girl. And she goes, "Yeah, where's the girl in the video? There's no girl in the video. You know, you need to come with us in the morning. You're going to be in Stillwell's office at 10 a.m. And whatever you had planned for the day, cancel it because you're going to be in there all day. And we have to meet with crisis management in Stillwell and get all this stuff taken care of." And Starlight's just wondering if she's been fired or not at this point because of everything that's going on. Stillwell calls Calhoun. She goes, "I'm glad you can meet with me so early in the morning," and shows him the pictures of him screwing the fat guy. And he goes, "No, this is fake." He goes, this didn't happen. This is Photoshopped." She goes, "No, it's not Photoshopped. I was there." And she goes, "Yeah, you shudder when you orgasm." And we see Stillwell morph into the big fat guy again. And Stillwell walks in and says, "Thank you, doppelganger. That'll be enough," which is pretty nasty. Yeah. And Calhoun says, "That's okay." He goes, "Gay sex, being gay is not a career ender anymore." And she goes, "It is if you're in Oklahoma and you're in politics," which is a good point. So she says, "You know what? You're going to get those votes to help get Soups in Congress or else," essentially. Homelander comes into ops and he wants to know where Translucent's last location was, last known location. And the girl there says, "Well, shouldn't we talk to Stillwell about this?" He goes, "Stillwell doesn't need to know anything about this. I'm fucking Homelander. I can do anything I want. Tell me where it is." So Frenchie and Butcher are taking off some gloves, and Translucent is waking up. He goes, "Wait, something doesn't feel right." And Butcher explains. He goes, "Yeah, so Frenchie starts to explain it at first. He goes, "You're a turtle, my friend. Your outside's really hard, but your insides are soft like the rest of ours." And Butcher just kind of boils it down because he gets pissed off. He goes, "Yeah, what he's telling you is you got a bunch of plastique rammed up your ass." He goes, "So if you stick a finger up there and you try and fish it out, bang, you're dead." He goes, "If you do anything that, funny, bang, you're dead." And Translucent just starts panicking and says, "I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I'll tell you anything." And he says, "The only thing I know about A-Train that he was coming from Pop Claw's place." Pop Claw is a D-class superhero. And he doesn't know anything else, but he knows other stuff. He doesn't know anything else about A-Train, but he knows other stuff. He could be useful. And that's when Butcher says, "Sorry, time's up. We don't have any time. Our time's run out." And he goes outside the refrigerator, closes the door, and he's going to hit the detonator. When Frenchie goes, No, wait a minute. What the hell is that?" And they see Homelander flying back and forth across the sky. And they're like, "Yeah, we can't detonate it now because if we do this, we're going to end up getting his attention. He's going to kill us all." So they're like, "Okay, we need to have a diversion. We need to get him out of here." So Frenchie and Butcher go outside into the van, and Butcher basically tells Frenchie that he needs to scrap the Pittsburgh location as a diversion. And he's like, "No, come on, no." And he's like, "Yeah, you need to scrap the Pittsburgh location." So Frenchie is calling up his girl Friday out there to tell her that, she needs to destroy the place. She goes, "Okay, give me 3 minutes." In the meantime, Butcher is in the back of the van working on some kind of connection. We don't know exactly what it is, but it looks like he's something to do with the computer. We don't know exactly what the hell that is. When who ends up standing right next to the van but Homelander. And Frenchie rolls down the window and goes, "Oh my God, am I talking to Homelander?" He tries to feign all this kind of stuff. And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Do you mind showing me some ID?" Is what Homelander asks. He's like, "Oh yeah, sure." In the meantime, inside, Translucent is peeing into the glass that Huey had left him, and he splashes it onto the battery, shorting them out and getting out of the cage. And all that's between him and freedom is Huey and the detonator. Huey grabs the detonator, and Huey's telling him, "Get back in the fucking cage." And Translucent's like, "No." He goes, "You know what happens if I get back in the cage? I'm dead." And he's trying to talk Huey out of it. In the meantime, Homelander is outside talking to Frenchie, saying, "Can I search your van?" He goes, "No." He goes, "Do you have a warrant?" And he goes, "Well, if you don't have anything to hide, that's fine. I can look right through. I don't need a warrant if you've got nothing to hide." And he starts looking through the van with his X-ray vision, and we see that Butcher has actually left the van, is hiding behind a dumpster. So just then we see the girl Friday, Frenchie's girl Friday, take off running and blow up the place in Pittsburgh. Homelander hears it and takes off. And Translucent has finally talked Huey into letting him go, letting him pass. And just when he gets far enough away, Huey looks down the hall at him and hits the button and blows him up, spraying himself with blood and the guts of what's left of Translucent at that. And that's where we leave off on the episode. And holy shit, that's all I can say is that, pretty brutal stuff, but really good at the same time. Yes, it is a very violent, pretty fucked up, and yes, it is a great story. This show sounds super weird. Maybe I should watch it. So I tried to get you to watch the first episode last night, but we watched Blazing Saddles instead, which is really good. So Joe Greer says, I need to finally finish the last season now since I got Cinemax again. For Banshee. Yeah, I didn't finish it off either, I think I had like a couple more episodes to go and I didn't finish it off, but it's still good. It's me. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about there, Mufinobi. Yeah, I'm looking up here in the chat. The Rook sounds like Sense8 from Netflix. I forgot to leave my comment last week. No, it's a little more. It's a little bit better than Sense8. At least it's watchable, whereas Sense8 is not. I apologize to those of you who really like Sense8, but yeah, I couldn't watch that. Joker says, yeah, like me when I met some wrestlers back when I was in high school. Lex Luthor. Okay. Queen Mauve is closer to being a hero, but lets too much pass. Her demons creep in. Yeah, we'll get to that as episodes go on. Brightburn has the same. No, Brightburn was something different. It's supposed to be evil Superman. It's all it's supposed to be. Brightburn, Joe, on that one. And this was written way before Brightburn. Yeah. It was a comic way before Brightburn was even thought of. Yeah. Welcome to the Nut House. Sasha knows what the Nut House is here. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. I am Dennis, Mr. Rapato. The Boys will never replace iZombie and Swamp. Yeah, well, The Boys is good stuff, man. Swamp Thing deserved better than just one season. It really did. It really did deserve. Is it Black Mirror fucked up because I regretted watching the first episode of that? It's not that. Black Mirror does some stuff. It tries to shock for shock value for the most part. Is what I found Black Mirror does. I'm not into Black Mirror. I tried. I really did. And it isn't for me. Sorry. It really isn't. Let's see what else. I did watch the Miley Cyrus episode. Oh, I haven't even seen the new season. I know that's on. Honestly, it's not one of those priorities for me. I want to hear about the saddle thing, Morks. It's Blazing Saddles. It's Mel Brooks movie. It's one of those movies that would never, ever in a million years get made today because it's so politically incorrect. Yeah. And it pretty much offends everyone across the board. That's what it does. Which is what Mel Brooks was good for back in the 70s. And, well, besides making people laugh, too. Yeah. Plus, Dennis wouldn't mind watching it again on my 65-inch HD TV. And it's an OLED. 4K TV, Marks. You got to get all these things right if you're going to do that. Yeah. Richard Pryor was one of the writers, one of the 5 writers for Blazing Saddles. I still haven't seen Blazing Saddles, but I know about it. So if you haven't seen it, Joe Greer, you don't know about it. I'm sorry. You got to watch it in order to experience it. 65-inch, not 69-inch. 69 something else, all the way around there. Yes, OLED. Actually, it's QLED is what Samsung says. Instead of OLED, it's QLED. See you, Mr. Roboto. Love, Death, and Robots was kind of It really wasn't. I did like Sense8, Mark Magino says. Yeah, like I said, everyone has different tastes, man. I couldn't get through it. I watched the first 2 episodes, and then I was like, yeah, I this isn't mine. This isn't for me. Yeah. Sense8 had some great action sequences and a killer soundtrack. Yeah. But I was commenting on the kid in Brightburn abusing his x-ray vision and spying on the girl. That's what you're saying. Okay. Sorry, all I see is the chat afterwards, and I'm trying to pick, what's going on there. Questions are a lot easier for me than, coming in the middle of a conversation as things are going through there. There was a meme on Twitter with a picture of Huey covered in blood and a younger picture of Simon Pegg about it. Caption, "You've got red on you." Funny. Yeah. Stanley Tweedle says, haven't seen Saddles. Neither. The German sync is useless. Have to find the original copy. Yeah. I'm sure it's probably on Amazon Prime someplace. Sasha, I didn't watch Love, Death, and Robots. I do like some animated stuff, but I don't tend to watch it unless I've heard something about it. Yeah, you're not really missing much, Sasha. There's some really cool graphics. There's maybe 1 or 2 good stories out of the 12, I think, or 13 in there. But it's really, it was like liquid television in the 90s. It's the same kind of stuff. Yeah. My computer was buffering. I watched Killjoys up until the recent return. Have there been 2? I don't know what you're talking about, Pen Farm Girl. Oh, you're talking to Joe Greer about something there. Okay, got it. Dennis has a hammer. I do have a hammer. I have 2 hammers, actually. He seems to say hi and then bye a few minutes later. I do not. Yes. That was just a flyby. That was an easy one, Morks. I don't know if you saw the post earlier. It was on the I think it was on the iZombie finale. There was a troll in there. I am reading more than just your comments, Sasha. Stanley, don't believe everything that Dennis says. Yeah, she knows who I am. Okay. Yes, that scene, Joe, is the favorite of everybody in Blazing Saddles, the campfire scene. Can I have some more beans, Mr. Taggart? I'd say you had enough. Good. I'm glad you've learned that, Sasha. Don't believe what I say. Yeah. Yeah, see, the 100 I can't get into either. I tried. I think I actually watched quite a few episodes of the 100, and then I just was like, yeah. Ask me about my vow of silence. Somebody has to go back and get a shitload of dimes. That's right. Somebody's got to go back and get a shitload of dimes. Give the governor a harumph. You didn't give the governor a harumph. You better watch your ass. There's a lot of quotable stuff from that movie. As I've said before, affairs of state take precedent over affairs of state. I watched about one season of the 100. I got extremely repetitive. Yeah, that's what was happening with me too, Mark, as I just kept seeing the same thing. They weren't kind of getting to whatever the story was they initially said they were going to at the very beginning, and I was like, yeah, I don't have time for this. Ain't got time for this. No one got time for any of this. But with that said, The Boys is really good. Loving this stuff. Season 3 again is going to move over to Thursday nights. Thursday nights, probably around 6:30. I'm thinking 6:30ish is what I'm thinking. And so tomorrow is going to be Preacher, the season premiere of Preacher for their final season. Monday, of course, is going to be Legion. Excuse me. Oh my God. My throat and everything else just kind of clenched up there for a second. Monday is going to be Legion. Tuesday, I'm off. Wednesday is Craptown or Krypton, if you're looking at it there. Thursday is going to be The Boys. Friday, I'm off. And Saturday is going to be Saturday morning blast off in the morning there. Yeah. You still have to watch 3 times 10 of Preacher. You have to watch all of season 3, Stanley. Season 3 isn't bad. I'll admit. Season 3 actually isn't that bad. Yes, I did get to watch the last. It wasn't 30 seconds, Pen Farm Girl. That was like another fucking 5 minutes. I don't know why they didn't say it was 5 minutes at the end of it. Because, yeah, I watched that and I was like, holy shit. They just kind of like tacked on almost another 5 minutes at the end there. And yeah, it was interesting, but at the same time, it's like I'm kind of pissed that they put that on there, even knowing that they were not going to come back for season 2. Yeah. It's one of those things. It's like, why did you put it in if you knew that you guys weren't coming back? Because they knew by now they weren't coming back. Sorry I missed your blast off, Dennis. I was working and also didn't want to change my pants. That's okay, Mufinobi. It's been noted. It'll be held against you later at a certain point in time when you're not expecting. Maybe be pissed that you didn't watch it. I watched it, Sasha. I did. They probably had already done the CGI. I'm sure they did the CGI. That looked like a practical suit, though. I'm sure they spent the money on it and everything, but still at the same time, why put it in? It just basically, you're just pissing off the people that wanted another season out of this. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it is a cliffhanger because we don't know what happened to Matt now at this point either. Yeah, they left a couple people in cliffhangers. Lucia, Matt, Avery. Because we don't know what happened to Avery either at this point. Yeah, the only people they kind of had endings to were, Daniel, Liz, Alec, and Abby. Those are the only people they had. Oh, and Maria. Maria's story pretty much ended where she was. Why was there a time jump? What are you talking about, Pen Farm Girl? Oh, Future Man? Or I don't know what you're talking about. Where was there a time jump for what? Which one are you asking about? Yeah. Maybe I had a time jump and I don't remember what it was. No, there wasn't a time jump in Swamp Thing. No time jump at all. It just, they got, so the last episode, season or episode 10 was not supposed to be their last episode. They were supposed to have 13 episodes and they ended up truncating that to 10 episodes. So the last episode, they actually shut down production for almost a month while they retooled everything and then ended it with that. So yeah, it was pretty shitty. Yeah. The police station was all overgrown and Matt was too healed up. He wasn't healed up. I mean, he was just coming to get some clothes is what he said. He came to the station to go get some clothes. Why he left that night? Yeah, that was the one thing that was kind of weird, is why he left that night when his mom said that she was going to go get him some clothes and come back in the morning. So that was the weird thing about it, Penn. And that was just because, again, I'm pretty sure they shot the beginning of all of that beforehand, before they found out that they were not going to be getting episodes 11, 12, and 13. And then, yeah, they that's continuity error is what that's called. And you can blame that on whoever kind of forgot about it. They didn't look at the dailies. Nice, Joe. Batman Brave and the Bold's a lot of fun. You're going to have a lot of fun with that one. It's just a lot of goofy fun, really. And Aquaman. Aquaman is awesome. Awesome in that one. Yeah, it still sucks that it's not getting picked up. And I don't think it would be able to be picked up by anybody else. So no, drinking. There we go. See, that's always good. Drinking does not fuck me up. I can handle it. No. The last episode was stuff full of different plots. Yeah, kind of. There was still the same stuff that was going on. They were just kind of tying up loose ends loosely and then starting a couple other ones. That's all. That's what I'm drinking, Joe. That's water right there. Yeah, they were rushing to an end, Stanley. Definitely rushing to an end. I agree with you on that. But with that said, well, anyway, drifting farther away from the. Yeah, I know. We're drifting farther away from the boys' movie Finobi. That's what happens. You haven't been on a couple of these last streams. It's been noted again, and it will be held against you at some point in time, especially when you least expect it. But yeah, we have been devolving into other different talks about things and stuff like that at the end of stuff. The goatee is back, kind of. It's a little scruffy at the moment. It might disappear again. It depends on what the weather's like here. And Pepper's got her goatee growing into. You only see me about once a month, if that, or whenever she invites herself over. That's pretty much it. And yes, tomorrow will be nothing but Preacher. That's right. Hopefully I get the East Coast feed. If I get the East Coast feed, which will be, I believe it's 6 p.m. my time, which means I should be up and running. I know, I think it's actually earlier. It's on my schedule. I don't know what it is right now. I haven't looked at my schedule. I'll look at it later. Yeah. With that said, if you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Also, if you're on the fence about joining up, you're going to see at the very end here a video pop up here. It's going to take a video from my vast video library based on all the algorithms of everything you've watched. And if you like what you see there, then you can hit the subscribe button. Up here is going to be Saturday morning blast off, what was going on this morning. You can see all that insanity right there. You can also see when I'm going to be on again live again next by going to suspendedfanimation.com. My schedule is up there. It's also on my Facebook page. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I also have a Patreon as well, but I don't have any tiers set up at the moment. So with that said, can we have just a YouTube live where I can talk to these people? Yeah, you can set up a channel, Sasha. We could do that for you. And you can use my setup and you can just do it that way. How about that? We could set it up, but that's not a problem. But then you can talk to everybody. Everyone can just pile in. No, you don't want to be videoed? Then what's the point of that? See? You just like the chat. Oh, you just want to chat in the chat area. I see what that is. Yeah, that's what they have. They have Discord. Discord is they can invite you over to Discord and you can do it that way. Yeah. No, Pen Farm Girl. She can't break into the house. Pepper will, protect and serve. That's what she does while I'm not here. Voice and chat without video. Nice. So again, with that, I'm going to let you guys go for the evening. Thank you very much for those of you who joined me in the chat today. And thank you if you've gone through all this insanity and reached the end of the video here. Thank you. I do like talking to strangers on the internet, you know, and also the ones that offer me candy too. Come on back tomorrow for Preacher. And until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may get threatened by Homelander about what you saw, because you know why? He's the fucking Homelander and he can do whatever the fuck he wants. Thanks, everybody. Good night.